I don't even know how to fucking begin this because I am at a loss of words right now. The Memories of Reach update just came out for Halo 5, and while checking out Forge, I was really disappointed with this. You know, you'd think 343 would have at least included rec weapons to make up for the failure of Reach content they decided to deliver. No. And you know how Infection came out with this update, and you know how it has that cool new version of the Prophet's Bane, or the Infected Sword as it's called? That doesn't exist in Forge. My question is, why does it not exist in Forge if it is not a rec weapon? It should exist in Forge because it's not a rec weapon. Now, if 343 actually plans on releasing rec weapons with the Warzone Firefight update, that's fine, but they should at least tell us they plan on, like, saving rec weapons for a much later update. Up front, instead of beating around the bush, making us feel like the idiots for actually thinking they're going to add it in each update. Alright. So, here's my second gripe. I checked out the custom game settings, right? Pretty much nothing changed, except for Infection. Infection, I have to admit, they put more effort into the custom game options than the matchmaking version. And this is what bugs me about, like, what they're doing with game modes. They added an option to disable weapon pickup in Infection, but not in any other game mode. Why? It's not smart. It's not clever. You should automatically have weapon pickup disabled in any version of Infection. I played through a matchmaking game, and you want to know how unbalanced it was? 1, the zombies don't have sprint, only thrusters. 2, humans have radar. That automatically makes it unfair for the zombies. And 3, humans can pick up any weapons that are on the map. I went up against a guy with a sniper rifle. How the fuck are you supposed to fight that? 1 with no shields, 2 with no sprint, and 3 with only an energy sword? It's not Infection. It's just an alternative of Slayer. Halo 5's Infection is an insult to Infection. Just like the Memories of Reach update is an insult to Halo Reach itself. Like, granted, the armor looks cool. But the fact of the matter is, the armor's not the important thing here. The important thing is the gameplay. And I appreciate the matchmaking settings, I really do, because I was getting tired of going up against tryhards all the time when I'm just trying to relax and have some fun. But this is the line that breaks for me, alright? Like, there's nothing redeeming about this update. They added a fucking trash tab under Forge. Why? And you know how before the update, they had a tab that said buildings, even though it technically wasn't buildings? That tab is gone. I searched through each Forge option 3 times. And there was no buildings tab. This is proof that 343 doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. I mean, look, if they want to add rec weapons to Forge, they need to be, or custom games, they need to be straight up front about it. Because there are some things that you can't just say, oh, well, we might do this, when everyone is asking for it. This is why people are leaving Halo 5. It's not because the game is bad. Far from it. The game itself is good. But the developers are ass retarded. That's the problem. They're not listening to the community. They're just doing what they think the community wants. And then they claim they're listening to the community. The proof of this is that everyone asked for the Falcon. Myself included. Even though I didn't like the Falcon from Halo Reach, I could see them adding the one from Campaign, where you only need one driver to be able to use it in a fight. I could see them adding that as a mythic vehicle. But does anybody remember using the the sword Phaeton in Halo Reach? Anyone at all? No? That's because it didn't fucking exist back then. And the Brute Plasma Rifle in Forge says, just like the Halo 2 Battle Rifle, next to the Brute Plasma Rifle, in parentheses, it says Halo 2. Why? This is unacceptable. I saw this coming. I saw this update sucking coming. I knew it was going to fail. I knew it wasn't going to live up to anyone's expectations. And the fact that they can't even be asked to make an actual new map for this particular update shows that 343 aren't developers. They're just lazy programmers who do whatever the fuck they feel like because they think it'll make them money. I've been as lenient with 343 as I can be. I was lenient with them for Halo 4. I was lenient with them for Master Chief Collection, and even with Halo 5 at launch and up past Forge. Because that's a whole nother shitstorm I don't want to get into. But the fact of the matter is, 343 are not worthy to make Halo games. Honestly, I'd rather be playing EA games Battlefront than Halo 5 at this point. Halo 5 was good at launch because it was different. It knew what it was. Halo 5 was good at launch because it wasn't trying to force itself to be a Halo game. Now, it's trying to force itself being a Halo game down our throats by doing these content updates. Which aren't even content updates, it's just a ruse for 343 finishing the game they couldn't be asked to finish before launch. And honestly, I find that insulting. As a gamer, I find that insulting. Like, the fact that they actually think it's justifiable to release a game half finished by adding, I'm doing air quotes by the way, free content drops monthly until, like, it's, satisfies everyone. I'm with that. But these are not content drops. Content drops means you're adding something new to the game that wasn't initially going to be added to it. Like, adding new content means you're going to add something new to the game that, makes everyone go, holy shit, you can do that now? Like, look at Reach. Look at what Reach did. Everyone bitched about armor lock and sprint and even armor abilities in general. But that was all they bitched about. They didn't bitch about the maps. They didn't bitch about the multiplayer. They bitched a little about the campaign, but for totally justifiable reasons. The campaign was a bit dry, but it was interesting the first time around. But, the fact that a game like Reach is still more populated, especially considering it was released 5 years ago, than a game that was released a little over 6 months ago, is sad. If Halo Reach is more populated than Halo 5 is, if Halo Reach is more populated now than Halo 5 is at this exact point in time, 343 is doing something fucking wrong. And you know what that thing is? They're trying to focus on the competitive side. Here's the thing. Halo was never about being competitive. The things that were about, the top 3 things I can list. Story. The campaign. Everyone loves the campaign, even if it's bullshit. But, look at CE. Look at Halo 2. Look at 3. Hell, look at ODST. Why it was named Halo 3 ODST when it took place during Halo 2, I'll never know. But still, they were good stories. Reach, I guess it was good filler content, but I wouldn't call it a good story on its own. Then there was having fun with multiplayer, which existed in Combat Evolved 2, even though you had to link up two different Xboxes. But, like, when you go into matchmaking, you don't go, oh god, I'm gonna get fucking destroyed. You go, I'm gonna have fun with this. I'm gonna do my best to have fun with this, and not bitch as much as I should. That's what Halo is like all the way up until Reach. And granted, I think if Reach only had Sprint as an armor ability for matchmaking, like all the other armor abilities were either custom game modes or, that kind of thing, I think Reach would have been better off in terms of matchmaking for that, but that's just my opinion. And 3, just hanging out with your friends, not doing anything of importance. What the fuck happened to casual play in Halo? Ever since Reach, ever since Halo 4, casual play has plummeted. Even though casual play is originally what got Halo to where it is today. Because while Combat Evolved could be played competitively, it was mostly casual. At least on the Xbox. I mean, there was a lot of competitive play on Combat Evolved, but until Halo 2 introduced online matchmaking, casual play dominated Combat Evolved's multiplayer. And then Halo 2 came along with its matchmaking, and competitive play and casual play sort of balanced each other out. And they stayed that way all the way through Reach, which is an impressive feat. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I personally think that if Microsoft themselves made Halo 5 instead of putting 343 in charge of this, despite the microtransactions, despite the money grubbing that would come out of this game, it would probably still be better designed than it is now. I mean, that's what I can't stand, is that 343 thinks we're stupid enough to actually buy into the fucking promises they make. Like, they say, oh, we're gonna fix Master Chief Collection. Yeah, they fixed up the servers, but just enough so they wouldn't crash. They didn't actually fix them. And then in Master Chief Collection, there was the whole lagging out in custom games, having to end the game and then re-invite people after ending said game. Bullshit. I mean, why? Was it really that hard to implement a join-in-progress system for custom games when matchmaking had it? I mean, it boggles my mind at how stupid 343 Industries really are. And instead of apologizing or trying to fix the problem, they make excuses for themselves. It's like that, that 12-year-old kid in school who does something unspeakably bad and then tries to lie his way out of it, just digging his hole deeper. This is why the Halo community is so divided. It's not because of the gameplay, it's because of the developers. The developers blow, and they made the game suck, because they implemented their own ideas instead of the community's. And that's why Halo 5 sucks. Not because the gameplay is bad on, normal circumstances, but because the developers made the gameplay bad. Granted, SWAT right now is the most balanced game mode I can think of. And Warzone, really, it's just so fucking repetitive. I mean, it's the same boss over and over. Jesus Christ. I mean, yeah, Firefight was almost as repetitive, but the thing is, in Reach, you could change what enemy showed up where and play it in customs. I mean, compared to Reach, Halo 5 is a pale imitation Halo game at best. I honestly believe that Reach was the last true Halo game because it managed to balance out competitive and casual play equally. And, I mean, the time to kill in Reach was a lot longer, but I liked that. Because the time for each kill, or the fact that you were, 3 times stronger in Reach than you are in 5, or I should say more bullet resistant in Reach than in 5. I liked that because you could it gave you time to explore the map and find a good hiding spot or just admire the map's artwork, which is something that Halo 5 has nothing of. I mean, the most interesting map I can name is Riptide. And I kind of like Riptide, but it's really the only map I genuinely like. And that really is sad because it's not like a great map, it's just a reskin. I mean, this game is so bad and blew so I'm sorry, not this game. Memories of Reach blew so hard that all of my Nintendo cartridges started working again. That's how bad the update is. I mean, I would be willing to overlook it for 3 things. 1, Rec Weapons and Forge. 2, a Halo Reach map remake. And 3, a decent infection mode. I would be willing to overlook every other problem with this update were those 3 things included in it. I mean, even if they made the Rec Weapons only available through weapon pads, I would accept that. I mean, sure, it labels where they are on the map, but who cares? We still get to use them in custom games. And that brings me up to my next point, Super Fiesta. Everyone wanted it to stay. The majority of people who played it wanted it to stay. My question is, 343 already has the game mode made. Why couldn't they just implemented it right next to Infection? It would have taken them, what, maybe an extra day to push out the update? I mean, come on. This is tragic for a Halo game. You know, everyone says, oh, you're just being ungrateful for the free content. No, I'm not. I want to like this free content. But when 343 keeps making dumbass decisions, it's really hard to like the game for what it is. I genuinely like Riptide. I can use that as a Forge map. Because 343 decided not to add kill boundaries to the map and make it an Easter egg. The one good thing they did was make maps like Fathom, Riptide, and those kind of maps, make it so you can get out of them without even having to use a teleporter, and you can actually build on top of them. That's what 343 did right. They made it so you can get more Forge canvases out of basic maps. But the problem is that the Forge palettes are so dull and uninspiring. Yes, you can change the colors. Yes, you can change the backgrounds. But you can't build anything exquisite. Like, I mean, it's not the amount of pieces you use. It's not having more pieces that makes Forge good. It's being able to build with a limited amount that makes it good. That's why I view Reach, 4, and Halo 2 Anniversary, all 3 as superior Forges to Halo 5. Reach, the buildings, the pre-built structures. I mean, like, seriously, you can make a map entirely out of those. Even though you only had 12, you could still make a really good map out of those. That's what creative ingenuity can do, and that is what sorely lacks in Halo 5, because Halo 5's Forge, in fact, Halo 5 in general, is the least user-friendly Halo game to exist. Because the Forge controls are not easy to get accustomed to. There are no, like, pre-built structures for Forge noobs to use, which, you know, I don't consider myself as, like, an amazing forger. I like to forge to have fun. And I also don't like to take 3 weeks to build a fucking map. A single map. You want to know how many maps I can build on, good maps I can build on Reach? In the course of 3 weeks? I could build 15 good maps in 3 weeks on Reach in the time it takes me to build one good map on Halo 5 over 3 weeks. Why? I mean, and am I the only one disappointed by the fact that we're never going to see a Forge World remake for Halo 5 where it so desperately needs an actual Forge World? Like, Alpine is the closest thing. No, I'm sorry. Parallax is the closest thing we have to a Forge world. Alpine, too small. Way too small and way too constricted. And that's the problem. Is that these maps are not built as Halo maps. They're not. I don't even know what to describe them as other than reject Lego Star Wars maps. And that's putting it nicely. But, I mean, then there's the rec pack system, okay? I know a lot of people bitch about this, but, you know, I would be fine with it if you could unlock armor through leveling up and unlock the weapons and all that stuff through rec packs. I mean, that would be fine by me, but the fact of the matter is, random number generated armor unlocks is not a smart idea. It's not a good idea. It's a lazy idea. So, cause you know why? Instead of making achievements or like goals in the game to hit in order to unlock said armor, 343 decided, you know what? Fuck it. Let's just put a random number generator in there and make even less work for us to do. And I genuinely find that, like, incredibly stupid. Like, the fact that anyone can get away with the amount of laziness that 343's gotten away with thus far is sickening. And, I mean, 343 can do the anniversary games damn good. They do them so fucking good. But the problem is, 343 only oversees the development. They don't actually make the anniversary games themselves. They have it outsourced. Which means, why are we having 343 make the newer games when they could just be overseeing the modern games and having the people who do these amazing remakes make the new games? I mean, it makes so much sense to just have the people who get it right to do it. But instead, 343 lets their wallets do the talking, and one thing leads to another, and then videos like this happen, where 343 gets called out on their bullshit. Normally I would be tearing the shit out of them much worse, but I feel as though that they still deserve some benefit of the doubt, because I have a feeling Microsoft did have a hand in this. The thing is, 343 doesn't realize one crucial thing. You don't need to rush a game to make it the king. Slow and steady wins the race. So, in other words, if 343 was trying to get Halo 5 out before, let's say, Black Ops 3, they should have let Black Ops 3 come out first, taken their time with Halo 5, and released it, like, right after Christmas. Or, like, literally the week of Christmas. And I guarantee you it would have been a better game. And I guarantee you it would have brought the community together more than forcing them back into other better Halo games. Because right now, Halo 5 doesn't feel like a Halo game anymore. When I played the beta, I said, I genuinely feel like I'm playing a Halo game. When I played it right after launch, I said, I genuinely feel like I'm playing a Halo game. Right after the Forge update came out, it stopped feeling like Halo. Because Forge was overcomplicated, it had a severe lack of previous Forge objects, which is incredibly unacceptable. And the fact that 343 says, we're working on the best Forge yet, that is some pretentious shit. Because I've talked to several of my friends, and they all agree that Reach's Forge is far superior to Halo 5. I took them into a Halo 5 Forge match, and just let them dick around for an hour and a half, just to see how bad it really was. And they're like, dude, these controls are garbage, and these pieces are suckish at best. And I'm like, yeah. Because there's no effort put into this. All the effort was put into changing the background drops and wind direction, and then, it bugs me so much that 343 says they're gonna add so and so, and I mean, like, they do, but they do it in such a bullshit, dumbass way that instead of it being a cool feature, it's an annoying one. It's an annoying one that you wish didn't exist. It's not about being implemented, it's about the way it's implemented. And personally, I think we need less emblems and more custom game modes. I mean, think about it. Memories of Reach should have been a different update. They should have focused on making Reach map remakes, at least 2. A few custom game modes, including Super Fiesta, and adding weapons, like actual Reach weapons from Halo Reach into the game. That's what they should have focused on. Now, that being said, do I think that Halo 5 is still redeemable? Yeah, I do. But do I think that it deserves to be redeemed at this point in time? I'm a little gray on that right now. Because after seeing what they did with Infection, which is unacceptable on every fucking level, I mean, pretty much Infection is the make or break deal here. If they can fix it, I'm sorry. Sorry about that. I wish you guys didn't have to hear that, but I can't control those kind of things. Anyway. I mean, like, if... Honestly, it's not even custom Infection that pisses me off. It's matchmaking Infection. Custom Infection, I think, has potential. Matchmaking, not so much. Why? Because it's incredibly unfair to the zombies. See, matchmaking Infection is like a bad custom Infection game mode. It allows players to pick up humans to pick up weapons. It removes sprint from the zombie. I mean, now if the zombie's speed was upped a little bit, I would be a little more understanding and, willing to deal with that. But, I mean, this kind of... When you have sniper rifles in an Infection map, that's not Infection, that's Slayer. That's Slayer, that's Captured Flag, that's Territories, it's everything but Infection. Like, having weapons on the map is not Infection. Shotguns, and they don't even spawn you with a pistol. They spawn you with a shotgun and an assault rifle. What the fuck, 343? You got it right in Halo 4, but you can't get it right in this? I mean, yeah, the zombies' thruster packs were OP in 4, but that's because they had speed increases. Like, their movement speed was literally increased. I think that the zombies should have had sprints in Halo 5's Infection and thruster packs, because it's supposed to be hard for the humans to survive. Or at the very least, make the zombies more resistant to bullets instead of less. Because the shotgun's range is ridiculous. And the fact that you don't have to get a headshot on a sniper rifle to kill the zombie in one shot is just as. And then there's grenades. Since when the fuck are grenades in Infection? Why? Why are grenades in Infection? Why are grenades in every game mode they shouldn't be in? Fiesta Slayer, in Reach, in Halo 3, in Halo 2, in Halo fucking 4 didn't have grenades. Why does it have grenades in Halo 5? What, are they trying to cater to the noob population now? Are they trying to cater to the kids who can't actually play Halo because they're not old enough to be able to have the reflexes to make an actual legitimate kill? Like, why is this game so non-Halo? Like, I mean, I wanted Infection to come just as much as everyone else. I wanted Infection in this game because I wanted to play hide and seek on this game. Now I can't do that because of these bullshit abilities. And to be honest, it sucks. Infection sucks. Okay? I knew it was gonna suck, but I didn't want to believe it. I stated my opinion that it was gonna suck. No one wanted to believe me. I don't blame them. I wanted Infection just as much as they did. But the thing is, I was able to see what was gonna really happen. Infection came, and it sucked. Griffball, right now, is probably the only game they've brought back from the dead that actually lived up to expectations. And even then, it's kind of shitty because the Gravity Hammer now has a lunge. Like, we needed any more of that fucking Halo Reach kill out of nowhere garbage. I mean, the thing is, if they added Super Fiesta, even as a custom game mode, players still, like, people would flock to Halo 5. Why? Because they'd have a good game mode to play with their friends. And, granted, the no split screen thing is bullshit. But I still feel that 343 may add it later on. And by later on, I don't mean Warzone Firefight. I mean, like, the demand after Warzone Firefight will probably go up a lot for split screen. So, my theory is that while Warzone Firefight is the last listed update, that doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be the last update. So, I mean, if it is, it is. If it isn't, we'll see what happens. But if they, I swear to God, if they start, like, just dumping garbage on us with updates after Warzone Firefight, I'm not going to be fucking patronizing them anymore. Like, I'm sorry, not patronizing. I'm not going to be defending them anymore. Like, I know it doesn't sound like I'm defending them because I'm kind of calling them out on their bullshit, but isn't that the best way to defend people? Is, you know, to call them out when they make a mistake, and then to, like, explain to them what they could do better. That way they can defend themselves. I know that doesn't make much sense, but I mean, 343 is clearly incapable of doing what the community wants. We want sword base, we get a torque reskin. We want the grenade launcher, we get the fucking brute plasma rifle. We want the Falcon, we get the sword Phaeton. You see where I'm going with this? It's like they're intentionally ignoring the community when it comes to these big decisions because they think they know what they're doing. And they think this is what the players want, when in reality it isn't. We don't need another Phaeton. It's already overpowered enough. I would have accepted another Banshee. Maybe a Space Banshee. You know, like they had in Reach. You know, upgraded shields, better blasters, rapid fire torpedoes. I mean, come on. That kind of Banshee would kick ass. But why do we need another Phaeton? I mean, like, here's the best way I can describe this. I'm sure a lot of you watching this video have seen Ego Raptor's sequelitis video of Link to the Past and Ocarina of Time. His view on Skyward Sword is my view of Halo 5. Like, Halo 5 tries to force itself to be a Halo game. It's like this spoiled rich kid who always gets everything handed to them in life, but when it comes down to making it in the real world, they can't hack it. That's exactly what I feel Halo 5 is. Like, it's just some game that tries to be part of a franchise that it's not really a part of. And as for the campaign, I agree with a lot of people who are criticizing it. It's stupid. Because if you haven't played Spartan Ops in Halo 4 or read the books, you're not gonna know what the fuck you're not gonna know what the fuck is going on. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, why? Why can't you just continue with the... And please, do not get me started on the War and Eternal boss fights in the campaign. Do not. First off, health bars in a Halo game are garbage. Okay? Like, really? Do we really need Borderlands gameplay in a Halo game? I mean, it's a cool idea on paper, but in practice, it sucks. I mean, I cannot stand Warzone simply because that the bosses actually have health bars. Like, why? There's no point to it. There's no skill in it. It's all luck. Remember Legendary Campaign in Halo 4? How you could assassinate a knight? You can't do that anymore. And I find that... I mean, in Warzone, it's understandable. But in Campaign, it sucks. And then there's Warzone Firefight. Where to begin with this? One, I'm going to say this right now. It's not Firefight. It can't even hold a candle to what Firefight really is. Firefight is something you can genuinely enjoy. Firefight isn't something that just bombards you with objectives or bombards you with, like, waves of impossible to kill enemies. That's not what Firefight is. Even in Reach, I played Firefight matchmaking constantly, and I still do to this day. And it's always set to either heroic or legendary. And I will tell you this right now. The enemies in Reach's Firefight are easier to kill than in the Warzone Firefight beta. Because there's no bullshit health bar. If an elite general's coming at me, I whip out a rocket launcher or a sniper rifle and take his head off. And, or blow his feet off. But, that's what made Firefight. Was that it is difficult because it's actually difficult. Warzone Firefight is difficult because of the fucking health bars. That's not difficulty. That's laziness. Like, I mean, that's like fucking NES boss fights on an HD console. I mean, if I wanted to play a boss with a health bar, I would go play Mega Man 2. Alright? There, I said it. I would rather play Mega Man 2 for boss fights than Halo 5. Mainly because Mega Man 2 doesn't recycle the same fucking boss over and over again. But, then there's the weapon balancing. Now, this is kind of a gray area for me, because I do notice sometimes where the weapons are actually very well balanced, and then sometimes where they're just broken. Mostly with the assault rifle and any of the loadout weapons. I mean, the power weapons I'm willing to overlook because they're power weapons, but, like, the loadout weapons are so... I mean, I'm even willing to overlook the SMG because it does have a good rate of fire and it does do a decent amount of damage. But the battle rifle, DMR, and assault rifle need to be nerfed, not buffed. I mean, what's the fun of playing Halo if you get gunned down at your spawn point by an assault rifle? That's the point where you say, I actually rage quit the fucking infection match I was in on Halo 5 earlier because I shot a zombie with a shotgun at the exact same range they shot me when I was the zombie, and it didn't kill them, but it killed me when I was the zombie. And I can't stand that kind of bullshit fake weapon balancing. So, I mean, I do acknowledge that these are not mods, and these are not cheaters, because those don't exist in Halo 5 as of yet. But when you make a game type like Infection, you gotta take into account the fact that you gotta do it right. You can't just go willy-nilly. You can't say, oh, how can we revolutionize this? No. You can't do that. If you want to revolutionize it, you gotta take it step by step. You can't just run across. It's like trying to run in a minefield with high heels on. Ain't gonna happen. I mean, I'm probably the first person to be bitching like this about the Memories of Reach or Halo 5 in general because of the Memories of Reach, since it came out 2 hours ago, I want to say. And, I mean, as much as I want to like this game, I can't. I mean, I go on a Halo 5 solely to have fun. And granted, SWAT is kind of fun. But when that's the only game mode I can play and genuinely feel like I'm having fun, then I don't want to play the game. Because I'm just limited to one game mode where I can actually enjoy myself. I mean, I want to be able to enjoy each and every game mode. And I have tried each and every game mode. SWAT is the best one. Unfortunately. I mean, if Fiesta Slayer, normal Fiesta Slayer was a permanent playlist, you can bet your ass that's where I'd be spending my time. Granted, the weapon pickup is garbage, because that's not how real Fiesta Slayer works. At least not my version. So, you know, I can't really say I approve of what 343 is doing, because I don't. But I also can't say I berate them for it. Or I should say, I can't say that they, aren't trying. The thing is, they're just going about it in the wrong manner. Like, instead of actually going onto the forums and reading what the community wants for Halo 5, they just assume what the community wants for Halo 5 and then they implement it. And then videos like this happen, so... pretty much all I have to say is 343 fucked up. I am really torn about wanting to play this game anymore. I mean, one part of me really wants to play the game. The other part of me says, no, fuck this game. And it's just an internal struggle. If anyone else is having this problem, I can kind of understand why, because this game is both great and terrible at the same time. Like, it's a great first-person shooter. It's a great science fiction first-person shooter. But it's the shittiest Halo game I've ever played in my life. So, it's kind of like torn between a good first-person shooter and a shitty Halo game. That's why I still play it, because I can't make up my mind. So, I think that's it. I think I've gotten that off my chest, because this video's been a long time coming. I've been meaning to make this video for almost a week now, calling 343 out. And now that I finally made it, I'm done. Like, I don't feel I need to be making another video like this, calling 343 out on their bullshit. I've said what I needed to, and that's all I needed to say. As for the Hog Wild update, I couldn't really care less about it, because I don't use Warthogs ever. So, if they throw in a surprise feature in the update, cool, but, I mean, what are the odds, right? I mean, it's 343 Industries. It's not like it's 4J Studios. It's not like it's somebody who actually knows how to update a game.